I just kept coming back to Beirut in 1983 out of all the different terrorist events that I could dive into. And I wrote down about 3 pages from the end of World War II up until present day. And I kept coming back to Beirut in 1983 because it was such a turning point in our relationship with the Middle East. And the shadow of the event still looms large over U.S. foreign policy, but also from the enemy's perspective, from Iran's perspective, it really set the model that they've been using up to and through today, the use of proxy forces in particular. So they set the rules with this, and the way that the United States responded also taught them that terrorism via proxy forces works. And they're not the only terrorist organization to learn that from this event. So it was an important event. It wasn't talked about enough. There isn't that seminal work yet. And the Marine Corps really wanted to move on from this event. This is not a glorious day in Marine Corps history. It's not raising the flag on Iwo Jima. And now that I've been able to talk to these guys who were there, they had that sense right away as well, that the Marine Corps wanted to move on from this. So they felt, and speaking generally, that they were left behind. And they were so grateful that someone was going to tell their story in a thoughtful, respectful way. And for me, I'm just so thankful that they trusted me with this story. So it was humbling. It's hard to even talk about because it's so emotional getting to talk to these guys and then putting their stories in the book.
Yeah, I mean, to go there a little bit, right, with the real people and the real families and the real platoon mates, right, like that I've been able to experience that in person. I was with you in Virginia at the Virginia War Memorial a couple of years ago. And then on the Red Sky Morning tour, we popped over to Indianapolis. And in both of those audiences, we had retired Marines who stood up and asked you a question about how you were approaching it, because they had platoon mates that were killed in the bombing. So what has it been like for you to field some of those questions on tour and as you're speaking, but also as you're interviewing these folks? Like what does what kind of weight, did that place onto your shoulders, and how did it affect your storytelling, if at all?
Yeah, I didn't think of it as a heavy weight. I thought of it more as an honor. But like in the thrillers, if I mess something up or I get something wrong, I can just say, "Oh, it's fiction." In this, you don't have that luxury, nor would you ever want to. You have to get it right. So I didn't really feel a weight of this until you just mentioned it.
Sorry,
I know. But now I see, now I see it, but I didn't look at it that way from the outset. It was more like an honor to tell these stories and extremely humbling to do so. So I looked at it like that. And I looked at it like, hey, this is a responsibility, and I need to make sure that I get this right. And that when these guys read the book, they know it's an honest take on what happened. Not even a take. It's the story of what happened.
Yeah.
And it was done in a thoughtful, respectful way out of the respect for them and the guys that didn't make it home.